always laugh when I drop all my stuff off at Canon. It's covered in silt and dirt, and they just give you that look. Where have you been, man? What are you doing out there?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Photographer Profile. I have returning guests today, Connor. Unfortunately, we had some audio issues in our first recording, so I have him back to see some more of his photos and hear some more stories. Hey, Connor, how are you doing?
Doing great, man. Stoked to be back. I'm hoping this one, works out a little bit better with the audio, and we'll kind of see how today goes.
Yeah, for those that didn't see the first video, just give them an overview of yourself and your photography.
So I'm 28. I've been a photographer out here in Southern California for the past 10-ish years. Mainly my big thing has been action sports, but during my slow seasons, really pushing real estate photography and really pushing portrait photography and weddings and doing some different things. So that's been a lot of fun to, expand my skill set and try different gear that I would normally have in my bag for, an off-road shoot compared to a portrait or a wedding, something like that. So try to be a jack of all trades type of photographer right now.
A little less dangerous than your off-road photography.
Yeah, it's definitely a little smoother, a little closer to home a lot of the time too, which is always nice.
Are you a full-time professional? You make your sole income from photography?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, full-time. I've been full-time for the last about 2.5 years. I would say most of my income is from the off-road space, but just being able to kind of have that mixed in with other stuff has been nice.
Do you have any hobbies outside of photography that you enjoy?
I love going to concerts. I'm a massive concert head. Going to the beach, hanging out with friends, bowling. Been actually really getting into adult softball recently.
Adult softball.
Yeah.
What position do you play?
I played baseball my entire life from about first grade all the way up until the end of high school. I'm left-handed, so I played first, and I pitched when I was playing baseball. Right now, I'm just kind of trying out everything for the softball thing. It's been so much fun.
I played a couple adult softball leagues too. It's very fun. It also depends on if your team is a bunch of pickup players or you've been with a stable team that keeps the core year after year after year. There's a little dichotomy there in certain leagues.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, let's get to your photo showcase here. Hold on. Let me share. Okay, can you see that shot?
Yeah, comes up online fine.
Awesome. Yeah, just give us the story behind this shot and why you wanted to feature it.
Cool. Yeah. So this was the first Red Bull Sand Scramble race that they ever had. It's out in Glamis, right up. Forgot the name of the little point that they have it at, but it was awesome. Al over at Ignite Media had me a part of the team, and what an awesome opportunity it was to cover something not just for her but for Red Bull. This is my close friend of mine, Trey. He lives out here in Temecula area with me, and what a cool just spot to try to push the boundaries of what it could create was so much fun. And Red Bull always makes me want to move my bar up just a bit.
That's cool that the person actually driving this.
It's always nice because you feel like once you know them, you can also know how they drive and where they're going to look the best in that section. Keep that in your mind. Make friends with not just other photographers, but get these drivers and get used to how they drive.
He owns that vehicle, or Red Bull owns that vehicle?
No, he owns that. That's all his. That's all his racing. Red Bull just put on the sanctioned event. It was a cool they call it a scramble. So it's all points. There's 8 points, and there wasn't a specific track to hit, if that makes sense.
Let me get the next photo ready real fast here. We have quite a few to go through.
Just a few different ones.
Yeah, we picked different ones in our first podcast. So this will be, even if you saw the first episode, this will be new for
trying to razzle dazzle a little bit, show everything that we can be doing.
Okay, another action shot here.
But man, this is an old one. This was a throwback. You know, it was dug through the hard drives a little bit. This is probably 2017 or 2018, if I had to guess. But
Oh wow.
this is actually at the Levi's Stadium, so the 49er Stadium. It's one of the first Supercross rounds that I went to. It wasn't like in my Orange County or in San Diego. I traveled up for this one. You know, me, my mom, and one of my close friends just went up there for the day. This was opening ceremonies. This is Chad Reed, one of the all-time greats. You know, like in the sport. It's always cool because these are when I was watching as younger. These guys are like the best of the best. And now it's crazy to watch their kids now coming through the sport after he retired and whatnot. It's cool to see all kind of like the progression. But yeah, this one was shot at Levi Stadium on our opening ceremonies. Most of these races start at nighttime, but because of the time of the year, and I think this was a little earlier in the race, it was still daytime, still sunset, different view of it, which was cool.
Well, easier for photography. Night shooting action can be difficult.
Yeah, man.
Sometimes.
Stadium lights, they look bright to us, but our cameras don't necessarily think they're that bright.
Before we look at your next picture, a question for you. What do you feel is the best photography advice that you learned over your career or that you've been given by a mentor that you apply to your everyday shots?
I think the best thing is just to keep looking. Let's say it's shooting through a photo hole at a certain event, or if you're shooting portraits or whatever it is, whatever may be like the simplest look to a photo might not be what's the most dynamic. Looking outside of the box, why I think one of my favorite things lately has been shooting with primes, not having as much of the zoom capability. I feel like allows me to not focus on like, oh, if I can just zoom in closer, but I gotta maybe move a little bit. Maybe I gotta shoot something from a little different angle, higher, lower, through something, you know? Don't just take what's easiest for you. Really kind of search for it.
A lot of people I've had on this podcast have said the same thing. That's pretty good advice.
Yeah.
All right, let me share again our next one. Not an action shot. Surprise, surprise.
I know. All over the place. We're moving up in the world, you know? Yeah, so this is a friend of mine. We shot out at downtown San Diego. Didn't really have a spot in mind to start. Just kind of like met up down there and started walking around trying to find some different shots. I really only brought my like 85. I have an 85 1.4. It's my favorite lens, probably my Sigma. Really toyed around with different areas and different shots. And I just really like how this one all like the colors. It was kind of an overcasty day. So, there wasn't a whole lot of shadows. Just the colors of everything really popped, which is kind of my style of photography as well. I'm very, very vibrant. I'm not super into more of the minuscule coloring. Definitely a lot of fun having so much freedom over what I wanted to color, how I wanted each shot to look.
That tree in the background is pretty cool. It adds a lot
to
the photo. I like that.
Another
question for you. Right now in your career, how do you feel like you can improve the most in your photography? What are you trying to get better at?
As for my photography or as my business itself?
Oh, for your photography.
When it comes to my biggest thing I want to practice on right now is posing. I really, really, really want to work on creativity and thinking of different ways to pose people, pose couples, and as much as I like the candid stuff, practice a little bit on the back and forth of having some pose stuff as well as the candids.
It's always tricky to change your mindset, right, to different types of photography.
Definitely.
Okay, let's look at the next one here. Let me get ready. Get back to the action. We can't bore our viewers here.
What I'm good at, right? Back to what I'm good at.
Here's some great action.
All right. So this one, it's one of my like favorite. I plan on getting this one actually. It's
Some
put up on
air.
a yeah, it's getting some air, and this spot is just so much fun. It's pretty much mile one of most of the Mexico Baja races. All the people are there. It's lined up with people on both sides. It's just an environment, to say the least. I think this is with my 16. I don't think this was a 24. That truck's closer than what it seems.
I mean, this
and
thing's about to hit those people. Those people are really close to that truck. I'm surprised they
oh
allow
yeah, it's close.
people to get that
And
close.
Mexico, there's no rules down there for how close you're getting. The funniest part is I think it's photoshopped out of the picture, but right under that rear tire, they were putting like a beer can and their cell phones to like
What?
record the trucks jumping over them on a consistent basis.
Wow. Okay.
And then that's my
Crazy.
buddy Caleb right here in front.
Yeah, he doesn't have any safety gear or anything.
There ain't nothing down there. It's a fin for yourself type of place down there in Mexico.
Oh my goodness. Were you almost on the ground when you shot this? It looks
I'm
like you were
probably
taking a very
kneeling.
low
I'm
angle.
probably pretty
Okay.
close to kneeling. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. I really like that.
That one's one of my favorites.
I think I asked you something similar to this on our first podcast, but a little different. What do you see as the future of photography in 10, 20 years? How do you see photography changing or even still being around anymore?
Yeah. Just was watching a video with my girlfriend about AI and a bunch of other things that are just coming through so fast, and it's crazy to see how good it gets every few months with this update and where it's at. And I don't think it can go away, especially for certain events. I think that like some certain industries will have a big tick down in photography when it switches over to more video consistent, especially with video cameras being able to pull the stills that they can out of these new cameras. It's pretty insane. But at the same time, like, I don't think that you can get rid of photography as a whole. The quickness that a photographer, by himself can still get out content compared to a videographer that you need to have, you need to have a video guy, you need to have an editor, you need to have all these other things a lot of the time. I still think that there's going to be consistent cases that need to have photography still prevalent and still very much needed in like the photography space.
Let's cross our fingers. Let's cross our fingers.
I know, right? Let's hope, dude. Let's hope.
Okay. Let's take a look at your next one. I really like her expression in the shot.
Yeah, I like this one. This one was fun. This is a wedding I did in Fallbrook, and it was fun. A bit challenging because she's awesome. She speaks very little English. She's a Spanish speaker. She's actually, I believe it was from Colombia. It was fun. It was difficult. It was a fun challenge during the actual posing for photos part at the end. After they do the ceremony, and you're doing they're like full photo shoot, and you have to more so like act things out and tell them, you get to show them what you're doing, because you can tell the husband things and the husband's either relaying information for you, which is taking longer, and you only have that short window before during the cocktail hour for you to get all these shots that are needed.
Does your husband speak English?
Yeah, husband speaks English. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, so it was fun. I mean, I love this shot. I like that there's still some reflection in the mirror or in the windshield, but not enough to where like it takes away a lot from the image.
Yeah.
And then, the old car, always loved classics. So it was
she's
a lot
like,
of fun.
Did I just get married? I think she's feeling
exactly.
like, did I just get married? What did I do?
Did that just happen? Oh my goodness.
Really? I hope she frames this one.
I hope so. I hope it ends up. We did a lot of other ones, but I think this was like my favorite one of in the car.
Before we look at the next one, I think I asked you this one in the first episode, but I'm going to throw it at you again. What do you want to happen to all these photos when you die? What you want to do with all this stuff? all these
Oh
shots?
man, what I want to happen when I inevitably disappear.
Do you care? Do you even
Yeah.
care what happens to your photos?
To be honest with you, like, if what I have and like what I shot gave joy to somebody or at least encapsulated a memory for them while I was alive and while I was here shooting, from weddings to, I got a cool picture of a family member racing or whatever it was that they have somewhere in their house. Like that right there was enough for me. So I have some shots that like, end up in some of those like timeless memories type things. People remember that for years. It's awesome. But I'm not, if I die, I die. I don't have as much like I know a lot of people, a lot of photographers. I go to a lot of these like, these meetings. They talk about like your copywriting and all the. I'm like, I don't. Maybe I just haven't gotten to that level of like researching it too much. But man, it's always a little like I'm always like I don't. Yep, it happens. I don't have a whole lot of knowledge on it. It doesn't really bother me.
Hey, that's a perfectly fine answer,
Yeah, I'm like,
right?
I don't know.
I mean, that's how you feel. So I'm sure many people
Yeah.
feel the same way too. So, all right, let me bring up the next one. Another Red Bull,
Yeah,
truck,
back to the
Red
Red
Bull
Bull
event.
and back to the man. It's just, and it's funny when it's like you don't even necessarily shoot for them at the time. If my memory serves me right, I don't even think we were shooting for them. But man, you just get to some of these places, and usually the Red Bull guys are normally the ones sending it as the best. It's just kind of how it goes amongst mini sports. This one was cool. I just really enjoy how you can kind of see like in the distance where the track is coming from. You can see the
Yeah,
dust from his line through the mountain and up this hill towards me. And
and
this
that
one was
dust
cool.
lasted a long time. That dust
Oh,
stayed around too. I mean, it's
oh,
like
it's a
a
lot, and
huge.
it's a lot of it, man. I always laugh when I drop all my stuff off at Cannon. It's covered in silt and dirt, and they just give you that look. Where have you been, man? What are you doing out there?
You drop it off after every event. You drop off your
No, no, I
stuff
do about twice a
at
year.
Cannon for cleaning
I do about twice a year.
twice a year. Okay.
Yeah, once right about now, and then
Do you have
once.
a cover?
What's that?
Do you use a cover for your camera or
No,
your
not
lens
really.
when you shoot these
No,
type of event?
no, too much work. I have a long lens that's shot like right before they come up this hill. There was a big left hand turn, silty, all big giant like a dust cloud. I would shoot that long, and then I have a double sling camera. You drop one camera, then you grab the wide angle and you shoot that coming up the mountain. Then you got the long lens again and shoot it going away. If you have like that rain cover, it's just too much extra stuff. Like you might miss something.
I feel you. Was this during a race or is this like a fun
This is,
ride or
I believe,
something like that?
qualifying. Yeah, this was
Oh, qualifying.
qualifying
Okay.
for a race. Yeah,
Do you remember the race or which race?
it was the Baja 400. As
Okay.
for the year, man, I'm gonna go with like 21.
Testing your memory here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with like 21 or 22, but
Yeah.
because the 400 hasn't been around that long, so I'm gonna go like 21 or 22.
Cool. Well, I hope Red Bull has posted some of your shots.
I think the guys I was working with were working for Toyo. I'm pretty sure Toyo used his shot.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if Red Bull did, but I
Cool.
know Toyo did.
Well, that's nice. You got they got some exposure.
Yeah.
Another question for you. I know you love these questions. Do you have a dream shot that you haven't taken yet that's on your bucket list you're hoping to take sometime in the near future?
I really, really want to shoot an NFL game. It's like super high up on my list. NFL or a Major League Baseball game. Sports. I love sports. I'm actually probably going to end up at one of the high school CAF finals games for football after we get done. But one of my dream shots is I really want to get a shot. What where there's a helicopter. And I have one that was okay, but it's not necessarily what I want. But there's a video that guy we call him B More. He used to film all Kim Block stuff. They rebuilt a new car called It's called the Land Shark. It's like an iconic truck from the old days, and they just rebuilt it all. But there's a shot from it where it's smashing through this silt pocket. It's all smashed out, but the helicopter is just right there with them. I just want a cool shot of something with the helis right behind them. Or I love the like contrast of a truck that's just barreling through crazy desert with this helicopter just floating with them. It's such a cool
That would be sweet.
You know, it's cool to watch.
Speaking of shooting games, like the NFL games and stuff like that, I just watched on YouTube a couple of videos, like the Chargers had it, where a day in the life of an NFL photographer, and the photographer for the Chargers, he recorded his whole day, all his shots, his preparation, everything. Highly recommend watching that.
I'll have to go watch that. Yeah, it's on my list. I worked like a season with the Storm, which is minor league baseball. It's nothing like catching this professional sport in comparison.
Yeah, hopefully you can find someone with a media hookup, because I don't think a lot of places don't allow you to bring in long lenses as fans.
No, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I want to get like on the field. That's my goal here, is to get on the field. So we'll just keep plugging away and hope it happens.
Let's take a look at your next photo here. Back to the calm and peacefulness of wedding life.
Back to weddings, man. This is like my second ever wedding. This was a super close friend of mine who trusted me with that pressure of covering their wedding for him. And it was awesome. It was up in Flagstaff. What a gorgeous spot. And just the whole venue was great. And I believe it was in October. It was just so pretty. Freezing, but really pretty. I love the backlit shot. It's all natural lit. I don't have a flash on this one. It's a little grainy, which I don't know why I like that for this shot. I don't normally like the grain in photos, but it just worked with this one. And
it feels woodsy, right? You're in the woods.
Yeah,
that woodsy feeling.
Yeah, it added to the vibes. It added to the vibes quite well. I mean, it worked out great. I'm designing my new website currently. Another shot from their wedding is my homepage. Big wide shot of it.
I feel bad for the bride trying to get all that grass out of her wedding dress after this day.
This was into the shoot, so they were hiking out there for a bit.
I'm sure there's companies that will do that for you, right? Clean your wedding dress or take all that stuff out.
You have to. I guess you have to, because I feel like most of these, you always end up getting dirty on the photo shoot part, you know?
Yeah, for sure. So you're getting into the portrait world. Yeah. Are there any celebrities, maybe in the motorsports world, or anyone you'd like to do a celebrity like portrait shoot with?
As for celebrities, dude, I would love to go shoot something crazy with someone like Ryan Reynolds, or like some of these people that just have like that weird sense of humor, like Matthew McConaughey. Imagine like getting into his brain for a little while would be crazy.
Yeah, see what kind of shots these weird celebrities, like
these eccentric personality type people, dude. Like, I don't know if you watched Two Bears One Cave at all, but he just had Matthew McConaughey on. This guy's worth, $500 million, and he's just out here telling Bert how to make tuna salad. It's like, dude, I just need to know. I need to know what's going on in there for a bit.
That's the most expensive tuna salad per minute.
Exactly. It's straight bluefin, dude. It's bluefin tuna salad.
Oh gosh. Okay, I think we still have some more pictures. Let me get the next one real fast.
Yeah, I think there's one or two more.
Pop some bottles.
Pop some bottles. And this is probably, once again, like 16, 17 in that range of old, like, 8-ish years ago. And I would go to these races completely freelance with no real agenda of what needed to be covered. Let's go have some fun and get something different than what other people are gonna normally go for. So instead of bringing the normal wide angle to the podium, I think this is a 50 millimeter, 50 or an 85. I just brought that to it. I shot this and luckily he was right in front of me, and I think this was probably more so a lucky mistake than anything. Because my guess was I was aiming for his face, and
You
instead
did
we
you get
took
splashed? Did you get splashed by
covered, which that's I hate cleaning camera gear after getting champagne on it. It's terrible. It's probably the worst,
Yeah.
especially if you have more racing to shoot, because then your camera gear gets sticky and then dust and everything sticks to your camera gear. So it's even worse. But man, yeah, no, that's Cooper Webb, the rider that's champagning me. It was cool, man. I really liked this shot. I think it tells a funny story. I think it's cool. He actually left that team at like the jersey and everything. He left that team for a few years and then came back. And I actually have, I don't know if it's not in here, but I have his fender that he signed for me.
Oh,
from
cool.
I think it's this race.
He's still racing, I assume, these days?
Yeah, he's still racing. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know that scene. Sorry, I stick
Yeah, no,
to
you're good. You're good. Yeah,
football.
he's still racing today. Yeah.
Don't get at me in the comments, people. No. Okay, I think there's one more. Let's
Yeah.
get to it. This is totally different than any other photos we've looked at so far. People will be like, "What?
Boom. Yeah.
What is that?"
We're going right back into say what I'm doing now, man. My uncle does commercial real estate. During COVID, he was like, "What are you shooting right now? Because I don't think all your races are really going on." He was like, "Why don't you come out here and start helping me shoot some buildings that are for sale?" And I was like, "Okay, cool." It's a lot of fun. I was not expecting it to be fun, and to go to these places. This is like 5 photos in one photo,
like an HDR.
So yeah, HDR, but all they're not done in camera. So and then you pull everything out individually. It's cool to go there because you don't get exactly how it's gonna look until it's done. You have to trust yourself that you got all the settings right and how you got everything how you wanted it, because you don't really get to see it until you're done.
Did this photo help sell? Did this photo help sell the place?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think it's sold. It's funny. All the other houses in this area were like brand new, and it was cool. This one was all old school. There's actually another property that's like attached to it in the back, a different house. It was cool. It was a cool little spot.
All right. I know you had a pretty crazy story last time. Do you have any more stories? From out there,
oh man,
crazy,
there's always some crazy stuff going down in these places, man. It's always fun. And there's nothing like that. I've had some close calls with people crashing. I had one at Glen Helen, which is in San Bernardino, and we were sitting there shooting the starting line, and it's about 12 or so UTVs that came over the starting line, that came around the turn, and on its way back towards us, there's like not even a jump, it's just like a roller that goes straight over, and man, they clipped each other, and then they went straight, and then like turned, and then just started rolling, and it was like, I hope they stop before they get to me. And man, they got pretty close. They got closer than I would have hoped. But nothing as crazy as the drug cartels, man. But Mexico is Mexico.
Just give a quick summary of what happened in that first story. if you
my first ever time in Mexico. We got a little bit I got acquainted with the it could have been the cartel, it could have been the federales. We don't know for sure. I can't say it. I can't tell which one was which. But AR-15s and big American guns inside your vehicle in Mexico is not what I planned for a fun trip to photograph.
And don't take pictures of them. That might not end up well.
Let's hope not.
I think that's it. What is the best way for people to contact you? You prefer Instagram, your website? How do you prefer people reach out to you?
So, my off-road stuff, all my off-road content is gonna be under Activate Photo. I'm currently in the building stages right now of a new website, so I can't fully give that one out because it's We're changing up a little. It's gonna be more so based for all my other work, all my portraits, all my other weddings and stuff like that. But Activate Photography on Facebook and Instagram and all that. It's all my own work. My name's Connor. But yeah, that's it, man. That's pretty much how everyone gets a hold of me. My website right now is activatephotography.com, and you can check it out there.
Any final thoughts? I appreciate you coming on again. I'm glad we could get it right.
Yeah, I was like, I hope this one sounds
around.
better. I was like, hopefully it all worked out. I had to ask, how is it doing the people in the streets? I don't think I could do it. So I was going to ask you how that goes.
Obviously, people get drunk and say crazy stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Stuff that's not politically correct. So sometimes I have to be a little careful with editing and what I put out there. I live downtown, so I want to showcase a different part of San Diego that people don't think of. You know, they think of the beaches and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I want to show there is kind of a crazy nightlife down here, similar to Vegas.
Man, that there is. I've spent a lot of time down there, so
I want to show all sides of the city and get some funny content at the same time.
Find that next the Haktua meme, dude. You know, down there in San Diego.
Yeah, but she doesn't even credit the people that filmed her.
No,
so
dude,
even if I do find the next person, if I do find the next Haktua, I mean, she'll be like, I don't know that guy.
Exactly. I don't know what that was. I don't know where I am.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Have a good night. Stick around for the upload to finish here if you can.
Sounds good.
And I'll see you on Instagram.
Yeah, definitely.